Okay. I wanted to talk about this segment yesterday, but obviously, like, I was like deathly sick, and so I wasn't able to do that. So the fun has been sucked from me in that way. But the great thing about it is that there's been extra cringe that's been dropped afterwards, that this may have turned into a blessing in disguise. Because when I wanted to make this, it wasn't around. And so now we have such incredible memes. Listen to this. So we all remember Candace Owens, unfortunately, Negress Supreme, Blexit Lord, trying her best to save black people from the Democratic plantation. She recently used her clout to speak to Donald Trump, which I have to tell you, the fact that these like near, and I will say this, like near no name, like weirdos who just kind of like post garbage on the internet are able to talk to like the ex-president of the United States is just strange to me, especially when it comes from like conservatives, like how conservatives value so much they're like little foot soldiers on the ground pushing the work for like rich people. That's what we call in the business, if you didn't know, class solidarity. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but some people aren't ready for that conversation just yet. But this is a little thing that we call class solidarity. Rich people working for other rich people to maintain their richness. All right. We don't have as much of that on this side, but you know what? They do their own thing. Anyways, Candace and crew decided to go to talk to Trump to push her like baseless conspiracies about like the vaccine and all that sort of stuff. But the big problem for her is the fact that Donald Trump's pride in taking credit for anything that happens far outweighs his need to push conspiracy like Candace and crew. And so that led them to butt heads. Not only that, but for Candace to like backtrack and try desperately to get Trump to back up her claims, and it didn't work out too well for her. Let's take a look at it.
In terms of big pharma, which is a huge topic on the minds of mothers, especially. You're seeing what's happening at these school board meetings. Where do you stand on these vaccine mandates? And obviously, I know that you are pro-vaccine. Obviously, you did everything you could to get this vaccine out. I know where you stand on the vaccine.
It was one of the greatest achievements. We did it in less than 9 months.
To be able to do that.
Yeah,
but now it's taken a twist, right? It's gotten, now we went from this is a good thing and people should have this option to military men, you're going to have to resign because you're not getting this vaccine. Where do you stand on that?
Well,
So already she's trying her best. She's trying her absolute damnedest to get him to to cooperate here with this one. I love this. I love this face, bro. This is great. This is great. He has to freaking wrangle him. She's trying to throw out as many leading questions as possible to stop him from just being Trump, but it's not working. Yeah, this is straight up work with me. Come on. This is like sort of like, come on. You know what I want here. Come on. I need the clip. Come on. Come on. Come on, give it to me. Please, something. All right. But he doesn't want it. He doesn't want any part of it. OK, Trump's self-centeredness is even more important than conservatism to him.
Stand on, forget about the mandates that people have to have their freedom. But at the same time, the vaccine is one of the greatest achievements of mankind. We would have had in 1917. Remember the Spanish flu killed perhaps 100 million people. Actually, it ended the First World War because the soldiers were so. A lot of people don't know that. The soldiers got so sick. It was a terrible thing. There were no vaccines. There was no anything. I came up with a vaccine, with 3 vaccines. All are very, very good. Came up with 3 of them in less than 9 months. It was supposed to take 5 to 12 years.
And yet more people have died under COVID this year, by the way, under Joe Biden, than under you. And more people took the vaccine this year. So people are questioning how...
Well, no, the vaccine worked.
Okay, so another thing. She's struggling. Candace, are you okay? Candace, are you all right? No. Candace, what happened? Please, Trump, stop. Tell them the vaccine's going to turn you into an iguana. She's cringing. She's cringing. Never meet your hero's voice. She's cringing. And before this, she also just because Candace and crew have been like copyright striking all of this stuff to get it down, because she's been like they've been like quickly trying to erase a lot of this shit because it didn't turn out well for them. Complete backfiring from what they really wanted. And so they've been like copyright striking. They've been taking a lot of this stuff down. So it's been hard to find a lot of this stuff on the internet, but we still have this, which is very fun and very funny. I will tell you that much, because earlier like Candace mentioned that, oh my gosh, people are like losing their jobs. There have been soldiers who've had to get the vaccine, and they told them that you get the vaccine or you get dishonorably discharged. Yeah, that's what happens when you're a soldier, bro. You sign up and they tell you to go into like a freaking dust bowl where you get shot to death by random people while you protect an oil field for the government. Okay, and you're telling me that you don't care about that? That's based and red pilled. All right, but you getting forced to take the Fauci ouchie. Now this is the true pain of the servicemen and women, truly.
Right. Than under you, and more people took the vaccine this year, so people are questioning how.
Well, no, the vaccine worked, but some people aren't taking it. The ones that get very sick and go to the hospital are the ones that don't take the vaccine. But it's still their choice, and if you take the vaccine, you're protected. Look, the results of the vaccine are very good, and if you do get it, it's a very minor form. People aren't dying when they take the vaccine.
What about the masking of?
Yeah, my man's getting Fauci pilled. My man took his Fauci medicine earlier this morning. I didn't know that he was so versed on all of the like COVID conspiracy theory and was able to debunk it so like succinctly. I've never heard Trump speak so like eloquently on like a topic that made any sense, honestly, in my entire life. But like out of nowhere, he's like, yeah, man. Yeah, the people who are going to the doctor, they're not the ones who got vaccinated. And just so you know, okay? Just so you know. So we all put this so we all understand this. Trump isn't doing this because he thinks that like vaccines are like in and of themselves good. He's not doing this for like any other reason but for his own self-satisfaction. Remember, Trump is the most self-centered, most completely self-absorbed human being that I've ever seen in my entire life. The reason why he's doing this is, if you remember, like way back during or like 2019 when COVID hit, that he said that him and his government were going to be making a vaccine. That's why he even said in this interview, I made the vaccine. We made the vaccine. My government put together the vaccine, and that's what's curing people. The vaccines are great because I made them. That was his whole thing. Even during when he was president, he would, even though he pushed like dumbass conspiracy, like hydroxychloroquine may like save you, or like injecting UV light and like Windex and like Mr. Bubbles and Arm & Hammer may if you make like a fucking witch's brew with that shit, and like the fucking blue hair of a liberal, like if you like inject bleach and all that stuff, like if you put all that together in some sort of like witch's concoction and drink it while like standing on your head, that'll like cure you from COVID too. Like he did all of that, right? But that wasn't like to say that you shouldn't take the vaccine or it's bad or anything, because he always pushed that the vaccine was his invention and that's why it's good. If the vaccines came out under Biden and not him, I 100% believe that he would be doing the exact opposite. And if, God forbid he ever makes it to the presidency again, he would flip-flop again on that and say that it's his work. Like, remember, like some people forget this story, but remember, Donald Trump stopped us from getting, what was it, 500,000 full doses of vaccines because of his own personal pride. If you remember the story, some people, like a lot of people didn't cover this, but it was like one of the most diabolical things I've heard in my entire life. This is how self-absorbed this man is. If you remember back when he was president, he made this program, and it wasn't a bad program. It was called Operation Warp Speed. And what Operation Warp Speed was a government mandate that said if you were working to make a vaccine, that you were going to get money from the government. You're going to get money and resources from the government to put together that vaccine to help it come out quicker. All right. So you don't have to be using your own capital to put through the factories and do the research and do all this stuff to get the vaccine quicker. The problem was that Pfizer didn't work with Operation Warp Speed. And there were other programs as well that didn't work with Operation Warp Speed. I think Moderna did. And I was like the big three, like the J&J, Moderna, and Pfizer that came out that we talk about these days. I'm pretty sure only Moderna was the one that actually took money from Operation Warp Speed. And Trump what they did was that he had this big showing where he was going to get all of the like big executives from these big pharma manufacturers to come together to talk about the vaccine and promote Operation Warp Speed. And basically what he was going to do is say that all of these companies took money from Operation Warp Speed and he is to thank for these vaccines coming out. Pfizer didn't want to be there because Pfizer didn't take money from Operation Warp Speed. And when Pfizer's vaccine, which was the first vaccine to came out, they offered the government 1 million doses. If I remember correctly, now I may be forgetting the numbers exactly, but I do know it was around 500,000 full doses. And since you need 2 doses, you need 2 shots for it to be fully immunized. It's about 500,000 full doses. They offered the government to buy, before they fully came out, 1 million doses. Trump said, no, you didn't work with Operation Warp Speed. You didn't want to give me the credit for this, so I'm not paying you for those vaccines. Guess what? Pfizer asked the government again, are you sure you really don't want these? Trump said no. And so they sold those to Europe, okay? Because we didn't want to buy them. They weren't just going to sit there and twiddle their dick and not sell any of the vaccines that they made. So they sold them to Europe. And so Trump was banking on Moderna and AstraZeneca, if I remember correctly, Moderna and AstraZeneca to come out with the vaccines, and more than just Pfizer. The problem was AstraZeneca's was late and they produced less than they expected. Same with Moderna, leaving us at a deficit. And since we didn't buy the Pfizers, we were behind schedule of vaccinating people and rolling out the vaccine because Trump's own hubris, his own personal selfishness with taking all of the credit with the vaccine was overdone with actually making sure that the most amount of Americans possible could get vaccinated. So once again, Trump isn't doing this for like the good of the country. Trump's doing this all for himself, and that's why he's doing these points. It just happens to be that his self-centeredness lands him on the right side of this issue for once.
Children. That's a big one for moms right now.
Oh, and it's really funny. After he pulls this shit, after he debunks her talking point, that she has to like switch gears.
You get it. It's a very minor form. People aren't dying when they take the vaccine.
What about the masking of children? That's a big one for moms right now.
I think it's a terrible thing.
That flies in the face of science. The kids have a virtual 0% chance of dying of COVID, and yet they're insisting on these vaccine mandates. On these masking mandates, and now even the vaccine mandates for small children. Right. And what's going on there? I
think what's happening is you look at the masks where Fauci and a lot of other people said masks don't mean anything. All of a sudden he becomes a radical masker. Crazy. I don't like to see the kids with the masks on. They're sitting in school. They have a hard enough time sitting in school.
Looks like China. I've been to China.
And yet China's education system's a hell of a lot better than ours. You know what?
No.
They're rated number 2 or 3, and we're rated number 44.
Masking
Trump.
Children. It's bad. The way it looks, right? It doesn't look.
Comrade Trump, CCP agent, Comrade Trump. He's here, boys. He's like, it looks like China. It looks like China. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, Marxist-Leninist Trump. Talking about the educational gains made by the CCP, Comrade Trump. They talk to me and they come to me. We have all the workers. We have the best workers, big and beautiful workers. They come to me and they say, Comrade Trump, will you lead the revolution? I tell them there's a specter haunting America, the specter of communism. Red and orange never look so good together. Oh, no. She doesn't like it. I love how all of this comes down to aesthetics. It looks like China. It makes us look like China. Not that, it's like bad for them. It flies in the face of science, completely forgetting that kids can carry the vaccine and pass it to their parents or grandparents or their teachers or anybody else. And so we need to not care about any other human being. Empathy is not something that a lot of conservatives can wrap their mind around. So that's something that they can't even understand. But her main gripe with all of this is that it looks like China.
Look like a free country.
I'm against it.
Thank you, Trump. Thank you, Comrade Trump. So this didn't go over too well. As you can see, she looks like she's in pain. Okay, it looks like Ben Shapiro. It looks like they have like a freaking when she joined the Daily Wire, that she got implanted with like a little like neurochip that shocks her every single time that she's not doing enough to every time that she's not doing enough to push conservatism. So like here she's like, freaking Ben Shapiro is like slamming the shock button and she's like freaking please, Trump, say mask bad, please. China bad, please. So she's trying anything, please. I'm begging you. Wait, this is kind of like a good ass emote. Wait a second. This. What about like C please? Yeah, something like that. C please, Candace please. Like CPLS. They come to me and they say, Comrade Trump, will you lead the revolution? Yeah, see, please. And so Trump's been on like a vaccine kick for a while. Like once again, he's been like back and forth on this. He's been like riding the tightrope that is, you need your freedom and also take the vaccine because I made it. I personally kissed and blessed every single bottle of like the vaccine that you take. So I know that it's good. I took the vaccine, but like at the same time, he wants to, just he wants to play both sides, and it's not working for him anymore. It's really not. All right. He even said this, which was pretty wacky too.
But look, we did something that was historic. We saved tens of millions of lives worldwide. We together, all of us.
Why the fuck is he sitting like that? Why does he look like that? This man's fucking built like, I don't want to like bully, but this man's built like a goddamn bullfrog. You know what I mean? Just like, anyways.
Not me. We got a vaccine done, 3 vaccines done, and tremendous therapeutics like Regeneron and other things that have saved a lot of lives. We got a vaccine done in less than 9 months that was supposed to take from 5 to 12 years. Because of that vaccine, millions and millions of people, I think this would have been the Spanish flu of 1917, where up to 100 million people died. This was going to ravage the country far beyond what it is right now.
That's true. So once again, Trump, he does push the vaccine every now and again. He do. Also, speaking of conservatives and COVID, she went ahead after going to the TPUSA conference to see her bestie, Tucker Carlson, has COVID. So I wish you some love. Okay. We meme a little bit, but I do hope that she's okay. She definitely was given COVID from going to TPUSA, like 100%. So that's unfortunate. I hope she's all right. Now that we have this, all right, let's get to something good. Let's get to the Malding, all right? Because this is what I really care about. The conservative Malding. So, boo, safe and effective. It's Donald Trump on the vaccine bandwagon. Get the vax, boo. Corporate media, fear. I hate it when the corporate media played the fear tuba. Don't you guys feel the same? Like you're busy vibing and then all you know, next thing you know, like they're riding down Dixie with the fear tuba. You know what I mean? It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. And so Trump, what? So finally, Ben Garrison decided that he's taking away, all right? He's taking away his love for Daddy Trump. His daddy, his papa, okay? His poppy is no longer his bestie. He's taken one step too far. It's telling people to get vaccinated is one step too far. The evil vaccine, the evil Fauci ouchie, the jokey pokey, the clot shot goes too far on this one, and he can't possibly support this man anymore. I'm sorry, Trump. Like you know that meme of like the dude pointing the gun and crying? This is Ben Garrison and the other conservative. Like they've gone so far. Trump, this is it, okay? This is what it feels like when you push conspiracy this far, is because one day it will come back to bite you. They feel like it's not going to come back to bite you. It's going to come back to bite you. All right? It will. You can't just play this meme and think that like pushing this conspiracy theory is going to be super fun and pog and think that nothing bad will happen from it. Because when push comes to shove, when you're like a politician or even like a talking head a lot of the time, no way she did. No way she pulled this card. No way. Candace Owens asked conservatives to go easy on Trump. He's too old to do independent research on vaccine. Listen, guys, he's too old. He doesn't understand. Cut him some slack. Like when it comes to she pulled. You're right. She pulled the okay boomer on him. I have the video. Okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I have this video, so we can watch this. We can see her cope, because ever since this has come out, Candace has been coping and seething so hard about it. But I want to look at a couple other things until we get to there. Just one moment. All right. Wait, is this true? Did this just happen? Bro, what? Alex Jones's wife arrested on domestic violence charges. Yo, did she beat the shit out of... Is this like a Nicole Watterson, like Amazing World of Gumball type shit, where like she beat the fuck out of Alex Jones? Can you imagine? Because this isn't like, domestic violence isn't funny, but like, can you, in like a cartoon way, you know what I mean? Can you imagine how like just like unimaginable it would be if like Alex Jones's ex-wife was the one that beat his ass? just like, because this guy is really wide, right? Bad advice is showing. Yeah, I've did too many bad advice segments. We have gone off the rails. Wait a second, because this is Alex Jones on Christmas responding to this.
Is an emergency Christmas Day warning to President Trump. You are either completely ignorant about the so-called vaccine gene therapy that you helped ram through with Operation Warp Speed.
Gene therapy. It will turn you into an iguana. It will, okay? This shit, I played BioShock, all right? I know what they put in those vaccines, and it ain't good.
Or you're one of the most evil men who has ever lived, to push this toxic poison on the public and to attack your constituents when they simply try to save their lives and the lives of others. We're about to lay out the basic, incontrovertible facts that what you told Candace Owens just a few days ago is nothing but a raft of dirty lies.
Oh, poor baby. Trump sails his ship, his raft of dirty lies, on a sea of treachery. Man, Trump was just so you know, okay, all of these people who are like turning on a dime to run away from Trump, all of these people were at the beginning of the year. Remember, at the beginning of the year, January 6th, 2021, right at the Capitol, all of these people were ready to lose their lives for Donald Trump. They're ready to risk their lives and lose their lives. All of these people were ready to be shot and killed by Capitol Police for Daddy Trump. And instantly they turn on him just that quick. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the definition of being cucked. Oh yeah, and Candace is just left out to dry. 808s and heartbreaks. Candace Owens has just been left out to dry, trying her best to do damage control for this one, okay? So this is the Daily Beast. The Daily Beast put out an article that said, during an interview with Candace Owens this week, Donald Trump actually pushed back on anti-vaccine talking points and encouraged viewers to get the shots. Yes, you read that correctly. Which is true. That happened, okay? But Candace realizes that the truth is a little bit too inconvenient for her. So she has to push back against it. She says, what? Lol, this is such a dishonest headline. Trump did not push back against anything I said. We agreed that vaccine mandates and masking children are wrong. He simply expressed that he believes vaccines work and that people should get them. But you disagreed, though. You push back against anti-vaccine talking points. That's something he did do. So wild. So don't worry, the cope doesn't stop there, because she put through a whole Instagram video of damage control. Let me tell you, all right? It's good. Candace Owens is doing damage control after so many donors and supporters are upset over Trump's vaccine comment. She says he's old and isn't tech savvy. Guys, don't be mean. He's just too stupid.
Things are good. And he believes that because he comes from a generation, like people, you oftentimes forget like how old Trump is. He comes from a generation. I've seen other people that are older have the exact same perspective. Like they came from a time before TV, before internet, before being able to conduct their independent research, and everything that they read in a newspaper that was pitched to them, like they believed that was a reality. And
that's true. We all know back before Facebook, nobody knew how to read. Yeah, and Trump was born before, you could write, before you could like look things up anywhere, before you could research anything. And like newspapers were the only source of truth, and there was no other truth anywhere else. He comes from a time before language. You know, he back in his day, they expressed their beliefs by saying ooga booga, and then they settled their disagreements with big stick go bonk. You know, he just doesn't get it. He just doesn't understand. God, don't be mean. Yeah, he was on TV. Like, his whole thing was about being on TV. He is the reality TV president. Like, the idea that he doesn't know what TV is or how TV works or anything is laughable.
And one of those things was, this push for vaccines and believing that people were going to die without vaccines. And so I believe that his support of the vaccine is genuine and it's not based in any corruption at all. I think he actually believes those things. And people that are saying, how is he ignoring all the people that are being injured? And, people are sending Rumble videos and all of these, websites, obscure websites.
Guys, President of the United States, with literally all of the research in the world, able to see every single piece of research related to the vaccines at a snap of his finger, okay? He doesn't understand the Rumble videos and the obscure websites that have been up for 3 months that I've seen. He doesn't understand. He just doesn't get it. If he was able to see the Facebook post that I was, maybe the president of the United States would be a little bit different. Maybe he would think a little bit differently.
I believe also that he only reads the mainstream media news. Believe it or not, I do not believe that Trump reads or partakes in any other news sources. I don't believe that Trump is on the internet or, that he necessarily uses the web to try to find, obscure websites. I think that he just relies on,
What the fuck are obscure websites? Yeah, OAN equals mainstream. I don't believe OAN's necessarily mainstream, but like, what are these? She's not even mentioning anything, just obscure websites. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? Obscure websites, random websites.
Typical mainstream sources. So I don't think that there's anything evil going on there. I just wanted to say that because so many donors, supporters of his are kind of like questioning where all of this is coming from. And I think he just genuinely believes that. And he needs to sit down and, have a full conversation with someone. I was interviewing him in that circumstance, but he needs to have a larger conversation to really understand what's going on and why so many people are just horrified.
Donald Trump needs to get my obscure websites and Facebook posts, okay? And then maybe he'll understand why I'm coping so hard. Maybe then he'll finally get why I'm coping and then seething. First coping and then seething and then cope and then take a hit of my copium and then seethe. So here's where we are, okay? With Trump finally being separated. With Trump finally being separated from a decent part of his base, with them literally now believing that he is that now Donald Trump, all right, the QAnon, the storm is coming, destroy the Democrats, trigger the libs president, has become the deep state propaganda that they've always feared. And this is what it's become. And they're scared. They're running. Where will they go next? Can you imagine if this leads to all of them just completely dumping Donald Trump? Like, oh, what? You're telling me he pushed the vaccines? Dump him, dump him. Can you imagine if this suppresses if he tries to run again, that this suppresses his vote so far that he can't even make it through like the primary? Can you fucking imagine? No, I don't think it'll go that far, but I do think he lost like a decent amount of support by like speaking actual truth. And this comes the actual problem when it this is where the actual problem comes in, where you push like all of these lies and conspiracy theories, because at some point in time the truth is going to need to be something that you rely on. You will need to rely on the facts of the matter one day. And if you spend all of your time talking to people about why those don't matter and why those aren't real and why no one needs to listen to them, I'm telling you, one day it will come back to hurt you. It's happened to almost all of these conservatives, and it's going to keep happening to them as long as they live in lie. And so far, they have no wish for stopping until it makes them lose everything. And maybe they won't even learn then. But hey, at least we'll have some funny things to laugh at along the way.